Hi everyone, today I'll be replacing the battery on a Google Pixel 6a. I'll try to use as few tools as possible to show that this repair is actually easy to do on your own. For this, you'll need a thin plastic film, any will work, some alcohol or lighter fluid to soften the adhesive silicone glue, 84 screwdriver, and of course the motivation to fix it yourself. Let's get started. Today I won't even use any heat to make the process easier, but you can use a hairdryer or even an iron to help soften the adhesive faster if you don't have specialized equipment. Software updates are a double-edged sword. On one hand, they bring new features and security improvements. On the other hand, sometimes after an update, your device just doesn't perform the same. With my Pixel 6a, I started noticing that the battery drains faster than it used to, and that raises a fair question. Is it just poor optimization, a bug, or is there a bigger incentive for companies to let older devices slowly fall behind? I'm not saying this is intentional, but it definitely makes you think. People don't buy smartphones for just 1 year, and when updates negatively affect battery life, it creates frustration and distrust. At the end of the day, users want transparency and consistency, not the feeling that they're being pushed to upgrade sooner than they planned. This isn't the first time I've seen something like this. A similar situation happened with the Google Pixel 4a, battery issues after updates, and then a compensation program that didn't always work the way people expected. In my case, I was initially told I qualified. Then they kept asking for more and more proof, which I provided. And in the end, without any clear explanation, I was told my device didn't qualify after all. No replacement, no discount. That kind of experience leaves a bad impression, especially when you look at the pricing. In my opinion, Google's phones are getting pretty expensive for what you get. And I'm not just a random user saying this. I've repaired hundreds, maybe even thousands of Pixel devices over the years, starting from the early models. Every generation has its own set of common issues. I'm still going to keep repairing them and pointing out those problems in my videos. That's what I do. But personally, I've moved on. Right now, I'm using a Samsung phone, and honestly, I think they make some of the best devices on the market. There's a wide range of models, so pretty much anyone can find something that fits their needs and budget. At the end of the day, it's all about choice, and users deserve to know what they're getting into. Before you start, there are a few important things to keep in mind to avoid mistakes. First, don't use metal pry tools, especially if you don't have much experience. It's very easy to damage something inside. Instead, use something soft and flexible. I personally use a thin plastic film, like the protective layer from OCA film. You can also use the backing from a screen protector or any thin plastic sheet. Work slowly and carefully. Before you begin, take a close look at the internal layout so you know where the display cables are. You really don't want to catch or tear them. To loosen the adhesive, I use a special knee rust for retail, but you can safely use isopropyl alcohol. It helps soften the glue and makes the process easier. When disconnecting the display connector, be extra careful. There are often tiny components around it, and it's very easy to knock them off if you're not paying attention. If you take your time and stay careful, you'll be fine. It's honestly not that difficult, and once you do it yourself, you might be surprised how simple it actually is. In some of the more boring parts, I'll speed things up so this already long video doesn't drag on. Like I already said, in my opinion, Pixel phones are overpriced, and at the same time, they come with a lot of problems. And honestly, it feels like those problems are getting worse with each new generation. For example, based on what I've personally seen, devices like the Google Pixel 4 and Google Pixel 4 XL often don't last long term. I'd say up to around 75% of them just fail. And this isn't because of bad usage. These phones can simply shut off and die on their own without any warning, and once that happens, they won't turn back on. That's a serious reliability issue, and it's something people should be aware of. At this stage, be very careful. The display connector on this device is pretty fragile and not the easiest to work with. Take a close look before you do anything, and make sure you don't damage anything, especially the small components around the connector, as well as the display connector itself. Work slowly and stay precise here. The cameras are very sensitive to dust, so be extremely careful here. I personally use specialty protective stickers to cover them during the repair, but that's not required. For most people, it's enough to just avoid touching the camera lenses at all. Take your time and keep everything as clean as possible. Now let's start disassembling the phone, and make sure to remember the order of the screws. There are 3 short screws, so remember where they go and do not mix them up under any circumstances. One short screw is near the display connector, and the other 2 are near the main cameras. Make sure to install them back in the same places when you reassemble the phone. You only need a T4 screwdriver. It works for all newer Google Pixel models. Now we've reached the battery. Start by disconnecting the battery con. In my case, the battery has already been replaced. Yours will most likely be the original one, and you'll see a special adhesive strip with a pull tab used to remove the battery. To take the battery out, you can apply a little isopropyl alcohol or gently heat the area underneath to soften the adhesive. Try to pull the strip slowly and carefully so it doesn't stretch out or slip out. Even though the battery had been replaced, it was still original based on all the SE. In my case, to improve the adhesion of the tape, I'll apply 3M primer before installing the new double-sided T5 Maitono. After applying the double-sided tape, make sure to press it down firmly. If it doesn't stick properly, the battery can move slightly inside the corpus. It won't come loose, but you might hear a slight rattling sound. Now we can start reassembling the phone, taking our time and following the same order. Don't forget about the 3 short screws and do not mix them up under any circumstances. If you try to install a longer screw where a short one belongs, you can damage the threaded insert where the screw goes. Since the display attaches directly to the frame with clips, you don't need any super strong adhesive. You can use a rubber-based adhesive that you can buy on any online marketplace. Polyurethane sealant is not suitable here, because after using it, you won't be able to remove the display next time. Since the display attaches directly to the frame with clips, you don't need any super strong adhesive. You can use a rubber-based adhesive that you can buy on any online marketplace. Polyurethane sealant is not suitable here, because after using it, I do have special display clamps, but honestly, I prefer using regular rubber bands. And that's it. We've replaced the battery on the Google Pixel 6a. As you can see, there's nothing too complicated about it. If you follow the steps carefully, everything should go smoothly. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next useful video. Drop a like if you found this helpful and leave a comment below.